Welcome to The Why. In our podcast, The Why, we're going to cover topics that are important to SAP customers and to our team. We want you to share this information internally. We want you to share this information outside of SAP Ariba. And we want you to be able to connect with other thought leaders in our business. This week, our podcast, The Why, is at SAP Ariba Live in Las Vegas, which is the place to be for business-to-business commerce. Joining me today on our episode of The Why is Benjamin Storm, partner leader for Mercateo, and Tony Alvarez, who is our general manager of the Ariba SpotBuy business. Tony, Benjamin, thank you very much for joining me today on The Why.
Thank you for the invitation.
Benjamin, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about Mercateo, the business that you're in, the parts of the world that you serve.
Yeah. Mercateo actually is pretty well known in Europe as the, let's say, solution provider for tail-end spend.
Mm-hmm.
So we are managing more than 1,700 suppliers, having more than 100,000 SKUs on our platform in all European countries. And we don't have our own logistics, it's just a drop shipping business.
Sure.
But handling all these kind of suppliers with these very, very broad variety of products is, let's say, our core business. We always try to have some kind of a price competition on the platform. So for every single item, we try to have at least 2, 3, or 4 suppliers. And sometimes we even have, especially for the commodities like stationery, we have up to 30 or 40 suppliers. So this brings down the price pretty heavy. So it's a very competitive pricing at the end of the day. While on the other hand side, of course, we also have product on the platform with not such a big competition, and there it's a, let's say, standard price, not very special.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's especially a platform or a marketplace for these real one-off purchases.
No, that makes sense. So it sounds like it's a nice fit with the Ariba SpotBuy business strategy. What was interesting to Mercateo to choose to partner with Tony and the SpotBuy team? How did it sort of come together?
So we did our research on who the best content providers are in Europe, and Mercateo consistently came up in the B2B space, and it was really like kind of a two-pronged win for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mercateo Shop, like Benjamin mentioned, represents thousands of sellers.
Yeah, it sounds like amazing content.
Amazing content, and then what they're also building out, literally as we speak, is the Unite platform, which is a platform where they will house content for individual sellers, including our sellers that we bring to the network. So it was definitely a double prong that attracted us to Benjamin and the Mercateo team.
Fantastic.
Maybe let me explain this idea of the new platform called Unite.
Yes.
Actually, we started the company in 1999, and we learned over time that it is important to have a certain direct relationship between the buyers and the sellers. Of course, for all these one-offs, you don't need it, but if you buy a little bit more, then there is a need for a direct relationship for whatever reason. Like if you have stationery and the additional service the supplier gives to you is, for example, bringing the copy paper directly to the copy machine, this is something we cannot fulfill. So we learned this, and we found out that between real contracted spend and this real tail end spend, there's something in between. The little suppliers with a special assortment, with a very special service beside the product, but too small to onboard them on a platform like Ariba.
Makes sense,
or,
right?
Or bring them into the master datas. For these, we came up with the new idea with Unite, focusing on direct relationships between buyers and sellers.
That's great. So can you talk about the value to both the buyers and the suppliers? Certainly I can see with the Unite platform, a supplier who really isn't that sophisticated from an e-commerce standpoint really now can partner with Mercateo, right, to get their content out not only in your marketplace but also in SpotBuy. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So the sellers, as you just said, enjoy the instant access to our buy side. The buyers, through APIs and through our environment, they're able to go out into that Unite platform and they can turn on and off these sellers as they wish. They're literally in an app store and creating their own marketplace. So, those two factors are the value on the supply and the buy side. And I think it just boils down to a great experience, selection, and control, right?
Sure.
So on the buy side, it allows them to control and curate the content and manage their risk.
Right. Europe is obviously a complex and evolving region. How is Mercateo able to service, all the uniqueness going on within countries across Europe so well?
Well, let's say pretty hard work over the last 19 years.
Yeah.
Figuring out that is difficult. Europe is not just one country.
Absolutely.
So even we have these kind of European Union with trying to have standards in invoicing and so on,
Right.
but it isn't. So over the time we learned quite a lot with the Mercateo shop, and this is something we use now for Unite, providing a one vendor experience with an agency model. So everything you purchase via SpotBuy, and then behind SpotBuy is the Unite platform, comes with an invoice from just one company. So
you're able to consolidate that down.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That makes it so much easier, so much more simple.
because the Europeans are not used to use P cards. A credit card statement is definitely not enough
Right.
For the tax authorities. So you definitely need to have these level 3 information about the ultimate seller.
Right.
So this is something we provide as a service, and actually it's pretty awesome because behind SpotBuy you have these Unite platform. One of the sellers on the platform is Mercateo shop itself with
Sure.
quite a broad assortment. Then Ariba itself brings on quite a bunch of suppliers with a very interesting assortment as well. We have our own app store with hundreds of suppliers. Pretty small ones actually.
Yeah.
Could be
Okay.
the bakery around the corner.
Sure.
Which is interesting as well for
Yeah,
catering
of course. I was gonna
and
say,
in
you
the
need it,
meetings.
right.
And then there's also a feature to invite other suppliers to the platform with a very easy onboarding. And at the end of the day, you just receive the invoice from one company.
That's fantastic. So this partnership, right? I believe we announced it last summer. How's it going? Are we off to a super start in Europe? What's the feedback from both buyers and suppliers so far?
Yeah, I would say, to be clear, we partnered with Mercateo last year. They were just building out the Unite platform, so we just completed in Germany going live with the APIs. So
That's awesome.
It is. It's exciting. We are live with SAP, and we're giving that a couple weeks, and probably at the end of the month we're going to open that up in Germany to our customer base. Next is UK and France at the end of the quarter. And then there's 11 more countries in Europe that we can.
All right, so when we get to Amsterdam Ariba Live, we'll be seeing.
It'll be
we
ready.
can check in
Yeah.
again with you guys.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Let's do that.
Fantastic.
That's great.
So, what advice would you have for a customer thinking about using the SpotBuy Mercateo partnership? How should they get started?
Pretty simple one. Just switch it on.
Yeah.
It's that
That's-
easy.
that
huh?
is-
Just turn it on.
easy.
Yeah.
We've worked very closely. We literally have a backlog of about 25 customers that are very anxiously awaiting access to SpotBuy.
Get started.
Pushing quite hard. Yeah.
And they've influenced the direction that we've gone on the design of the product. They've influenced the direction, and they continue to influence the supply. So we're very bullish, and it is like Benjamin said. The key thing it's all about having a single vendor experience for the buyer. That's what everybody wants.
Right. And it's beautiful that you can just turn it on, and it works.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Benjamin, Tony, thank you for joining me this week at SAP Ariba Live on our podcast, The Why, and have a great rest of the show.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Our podcast, The Why, is put together by the People First team. We'll be producing The Why on a regular basis. If you have recommendations for topics, please contact the People First team. And please share this podcast with other members of our team or even outside our team. Thank you for listening to The Why.